last topic of your data modeling. So that is business content. I just want to go by. I'm just talking about business content. What is business content? Anybody? I told you something goes zero. What is zero? So where they are in the business content. So that's what I mean to say. It is a set of pre-delivered objects. So it is a set of pre-delivered objects by SAP, and this is delivered with respect to applications. It is delivered with respect to applications, industry, country specific requirements. All the business content objects are available with respect to industry, application, country specific requirements. So far we have created info objects, that is class and key fields. We have created info objects, that is class and key fields. Then we have created info queue, DSO, info sets. Then nothing. So where is we have created. Then I was talking about transformations. I was talking about info packages. And I was talking about BD. And on these elements, by using our bed suite, we can design queries, we can design workbooks, we can design web templates, etc. We can design web templates, etc. Right. See, all the elements delivered by SAP, they're all delivered by SAP. So with respect to application, like let's say for example, to take out sales and distribution, the entire data model is delivered. So with respect to metal management, the entire data model is delivered. With respect to production planning, the entire data model is delivered. With respect to SI, the entire data model is delivered. So with respect to each and every application, the entire data model is delivered by SAP. The only thing, whether it is matching our requirement or not, we have to verify. If it is matching, well and good, just make use of the object. If it is not matching, then only create the generic object. Unless and until it is not matching, and unless and until we need not to create the generic object. Getting my point, most of the time in the lab, at least 50 to 60% of the objects we can make and we can use of business content objects. The only thing we have to match with the requirement. If it is matching with the requirement, well and good. Otherwise we can create the generic. Any questions? And even it is delivered with respect to industry specific. Earlier I told you with respect to applications. Now it is with respect to industry specific. Like let's say for example, with respect to consumer goods, entire data model is delivered. With respect to pharma, with respect to retail, so the entire data models are delivered by. So that's what I mean to say. So it is a set of pre-delivered objects with respect to applications, with respect to industry, and even with respect to country-specific requirements. Then all the delivered objects are prefixed with what? Zero. All the delivered objects prefixed with zero. The delivered objects are always prefixed with zero. That's what I mean to say. Right. And there are three versions in business content. There are three versions in business content. One is delivered version. Second one, active version. Third one, modified version. So these are the three different versions of business content. Objects delivered by SAP. Objects delivered by SAP are in delivered version. but directly we cannot make use of delivered version objects. We cannot make use of modified or delivered version, only we can use active version objects. See, we cannot use delivered version objects directly. Delivered version objects direct. Yeah. Right, objects delivered by SAP and delivered version. We cannot use delivered version objects directly, but to make use of delivered version objects, you have to install them. Nothing but activate. Installing is nothing but activate. Whenever you are installing any object, system is going to generate necessary tables. Whenever you are installing any object from business content, system is going to generate necessary tables. So this becomes active version now. It becomes active version. So only active version we can use, but still if it is not matching the requirement, we can modify the objects known as modified version. So unless and until it is activated, unless the modified object is activated, we cannot go for, even we cannot use it in the system method. The modified version should become active version. Unless and until we cannot make use of the modified version. So these are the three different versions: delivered version, active version, and modified version. Objects delivered by SAP are in delivered version. Once you install them, it becomes active version. And if you want to modify, we can modify it. But still, if you modify, we cannot use unless and until we activate the modified object. So that's what your modified version object. So these are the three different versions related to business content. Now, there are some options related to business content. And first of all, let's go by object types in business content. I just want to tell you object types in business content. Object types in business content, I want to show you one. This is the transaction code RSO or BCT. RSO or BCT. This is a transaction code. To get into your business content. Otherwise, you can go by RSA1 BE content. You can see these are the different objects. Info area, application component, credit log, role. Everything you can see here. Whatever object so far we have used, every object is available in the business content. And even in the next sessions, I'm going to discuss the bikes platform. Even in related to bikes also, we can make use of the objects. So that's what I mean to say. So we can make use of any of these elements. So these are the different object types in business content. Any object we can make use. And if you go through, there are some options. First, I want to explain you all these options. Grouping options, install, and collection. I just want to explain you all these options first. Then I'll show you how to install. How to install? No, see, this is a specific to SAP BABW only. But you can map to any application system, either it is SAP or non-SAP. While mapping, you have to check for data type online. Nothing more than that. So, see, let's say for example, let me make it like this. I want to create some info cube. What is mandatory for me? I want to create an info cube. What is mandatory? You need to have info area and info objects. Unless and until it is there, I cannot go for this, right? In the same way, I'm installing some info cube, let's say 0sd_c03 sales info. I want to install this info cube from business content. So what is mandatory for me? Still info area and info objects, right? So earlier I was creating info cube, earlier I was creating these objects. Now I want to install this info cube from business content. So for installing this info cube, I need to have concern info area and info objects. So first of all, there are two steps in business content. One is gathering the required objects. What are the required objects? Info area and info objects. Gathering the required objects. So once the required objects are gathered, we can install it. Nothing but activate. So what are the required objects here? Info area and info objects. Then we can go on with activate. That's what. Okay. So first of all, I need to gather the required objects. This gathering is nothing but grouping. How you want to gather. Then I can just go on with activate. So for installing any business content object, first we have to gather the required object, then we have to go for activation. The first one I'm talking about grouping options. So using this, we can gather the required objects for installing the required objects. Any object. First one I'm talking about grouping options. Using this, we can gather the required object for installing any BW object. Say for example, there are different options. One by one I'll explain you. Only necessary. You can see here, grouping only necessary in data flow before, in data flow afterwards, before and afterwards. Like this. So one by one I'll show you. So only necessary in this talking about. Here system groups those objects. Those objects mandatory, which are mandatory. First one, let's say for example, info area. For installing info area, for installing info cube, let's say I'm installing some info cube. For installing info cube, info area and info objects are mandatory. That's what I mean to say. For installing info cube, info area and info objects, let's say, let me show you this. I'm installing some info cube. So the option I selected is only necessary. Now I'm just installing some info cube, let's say. So this is AFS purchasing. Select transfer selection. Whatever. Let me show you what is that it is grouping first of all. So it's going to group. I'm installing info cube. What is that it is going to group? Info area and info objects. That's what. Only necessary is nothing but mandatory objects are grouped. Perfect. Next one, in data flow before. One second. Yeah, I want to install info cube. For installing info cube, what is mandatory? Info area and info objects, right? So that is mandatory. That is group. You can see here. What is this? Info area and info objects. Getting my point? Any questions? The mandatory objects are collected. Most of the time we are going to select this. Right. So next one, in data flow before. Here system groups. Those objects that provide data to installing object. That provide data to installing object. Earlier mandatory, but here in this case, apart from mandatory, it's going to provide, it's going to collect the data, it's going to collect the objects which are providing data. Let me change it to in data flow before, you can see here. Let me show you what is that it is collected. It's going to collect some transformations, update rules. Update rules in 3.5 don't have in 7. Info sources. So this concept is not mandatory. In 3.5 only got this info source. So this is your data flow so far we have followed. Let me show you. Data from source system loaded to data source. From data source to data target. So what is that? We are going by transformation. So this is the data flow. We are creating info package and even we are creating DTP. If the data flow is not ended here, on this target we are going to design some queries. Queries are in turn, they are going to provide data to workbooks and even we are going to design some web template. That's why I'm installing some data target. So assume that this is a point of installation. This could be your data flow before and this could be data flow afterwards. So this is the point of installation. For this data target, how I'm getting data because of all this data flow. It's going to be now in data flow before. So that's what I mean to say. Here system groups those objects that provide data to installing object. What is installing object? Let's say InfoCube. How I'm getting data in InfoCube? Because of this data flow. That's what you are in data flow before. You can say it as it's running, let it be going on. Next one in data flow afterwards. I told you. So this is what in data flow afterwards. Here system groups those objects that gets data from installing object. Now if you take out this, from my data target queries are getting data. From my InfoCube queries are getting data. Intern workbook is getting, intern web template is getting. That's what this is in data flow. Point of installation, this is the point of installation. Before and what is that? Afterwards. Before and after. Yeah. It depends on that I'm installing some transformation. So say for example, I'm installing some transformation. So what is going to happen? This is before. And this is afterwards. Okay. So point of installation in the data flow before and afterwards. That's what. Next one in data flow before and afterwards. What happens? All the data flow is gathered. That's what. Both before and afterwards, everything. Let's say I'm installing data target with in data flow before and afterwards. What's going to happen? Everything is in. Okay. So again. Yes, everything is going to install. And now I'm just changing it to data flow afterwards. Just for this target, you can see that queries are going to be installed. It's going to install. So point of installation before and afterwards. Just keep in that mind. and you can change all the options in the practice. So let me tell you, there is something called collection mode. So for every object, directly or indirectly, there are some dependencies. Directly or indirectly, there are some dependent objects. Let's say, for example, if we take out characteristics, attributes are dependent. So if you want to collect the dependent objects, by the system, use automatic collection. If you want to collect the dependent objects by the system, use automatic collection. Otherwise, use manual collection. So you can see this is in data flow afterwards. What is that? It is collected queries, you can see here. The queries, simple. Apart from mandatory, it has also collected the queries. And this info feed is there in a multi-provider, so that is the reason why it is also collected. This AFS purchasing info feed is there in multi-provider, that is also collected as well. So in data flow before and in data flow afterwards. Right. So if it is before and afterwards, everything is going to be collected, and this is what I am talking about: collect automatically and manual collection. Collect automatic, start manual. Automatic collection is going to collect all the dependent objects by the system. Manual collection, we have to do it manually. Then next one I am talking about install. Installing is nothing but activation. Activation of the object. Installing is nothing but activation of the object. The first one, simulate install. There are some options you can see here. First one, simulate install. See, all these objects, once again, we are going to make use as part of our SAP data extraction. Just I'm telling you what is business content and how to install the business content objects. These objects are used as part of our SAP R3 data extraction. So I'm talking about simulate install. Simulation is nothing but it's a virtual installation. The object is not activated physically. But virtually, just to verify the activation logs, it is used. If at all any possible error is there, if you want to find, you can just go by simulate install to verify the activation logs. Nothing more than that. Just to verify the activation logs. Right. Next one, simulate install. Next one, install. So the object is activated physically here. Activated physically and generates necessary table. Earlier case, just to verify the logs. The object is not activated. But in this case, object is physically activated and generates necessary table. Next one, install in background. Install or install in background. Install or install in background. Anything is advisable. So this is a background job. Object is activated in background. Object is activated in background. To check your background jobs, use SM37. To check your background jobs, use SM37. Next one, you got something called install and transport. So I told you three system landscape: development, testing, and production. So we are going to install all the objects in development system. we are going to install all the objects in development system. Apart from installing the objects, if you want to transport the objects to the testing system, and testing system, we have to make use of this. We have to make use of this install and transport. Apart from installing, if you want to transport to the testing system, use this option. That's what install and transport. Just to move the objects from development to testing, testing to production. So that's what grouping is going to talk about. What are the objects you want to collect? Collection mode, dependent objects. Install is nothing but activation. So log is nothing but a message. Any errors, if at all any errors are there, we can just verify by using this activation log. All the object may not be able to, we may not be able to install it successfully, right? We have to check the logs. What is the possible error? Just to verify the logs, we have to go by this. Let me show you how to install these objects from business content. See, I'm just telling you this as an introduction, and then when it comes to SAP extraction, always I'm going to make use of this delivered objects. I just want to show you how to install the InfoCube from business content. This is the transaction code RS Word BCP. I told you already. RS Word BCP. So go by source system assignment. First of all, we have to select the source system with respect to which you want to use the business content objects. I'm just using this source system, R3 source system. So I told you, we are going to make use of R3 source system. So this is R3 source system. Continue. So, right, we have to select that. Then maintain grouping option. I'm just going by only necessary. You can see here, only necessary. Maintain collection mode. You can see collect automatically. Let's say, for example, I want to install some InfoCube. That's what. Select object. Find the object type. From the object type, find your object. You can say. So that is InfoCube. So double click on select object. Now whatever you want to install, you can just go on. So these are all your InfoCubes. Now I'm installing some C07 related to APO. APO InfoCube. This is any InfoCube. You can see throughout your system, whatever InfoCubes are, business content InfoCubes are there, everything is available here. Application wise, you can see with respect to SD, if it is SD, 0 SD. If it is related to purchasing, 0 PUR. If it is related to PT, 0 PT. It's going to be like this. Now this is related to APO, it is there with 0 APO, you can see. So select that, go with transfer selection. You can see it is selected. So these are the objects. Mandatory, I'm just going by. This is your InfoCube technical name and installing. Click on install. Go with install. Now it's going to generate all the objects and it's going to activate your InfoCube. See, it is generating only the skeleton. We have to upload the data. It is just a skeleton. We have to upload the data. No, this is just only skeleton. It doesn't hold any data. Yeah, there's only a skeleton. I mean, tables are going to be there. That's all. Data will has to be uploaded from consent source. From R3 system, if it is APO supply chain management system, you can upload. So now it is successfully activated, you can see. Now you can check this as part of modeling. Since it is InfoCube, as part of modeling. Just refresh it once. You can find your InfoCube. You can see what is this? InfoCube. Right click. What is the option? So what is this? Material dimension. Where you got these tabs. Location. Key figures. So if you want to create this InfoCube, first of all you have to generate all these objects. Then you have to go by. You have to create InfoCube. But here, everything is installed from business content. It's going to reduce your lot of time and money of the project here. You need not to develop right from the scratch. It's going to save you a lot of time and money of the project. That's what you need to see. Any questions? You can install any object, so need not to worry. Just try to follow it and I'll show you. In the future again I'm going to show you. This is related to APO. You can just go on with anything. You can relate it to sales, you can install. You can relate it to purchasing, you can install. Related to planning, you can install. Any InfoCube, you can install. It doesn't hold any data, it is just a template. All the tables are generated and it has to be uploaded with required data. Even if you want to modify this, we can modify it and make necessary modifications. Right, from SCM system, we can upload this data. That's what. That's okay. Just as of now, install the. Just find it out how to install the required objects. Huh? Okay. And from tomorrow, I'm going to start off a new topic, that is reporting part. Starting reporting part.